Welcome back to the New Equity Network show. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live on 1160 KVCE, DFW's Business Authority, the Wall Street Business Network, and the segment is brought to you by BizStars TV. All right, I'm speaking with Dr. Conrad Loreto, COO of L3 Medical Technologies. Dr. Loreto, we were talking about your pain management process using lasers, low-intensity lasers, instead of needles for acupuncture to manage pain and stress in your facilities. And you had mentioned in the previous segment, you've got 10 locations. You're going to start with California, Arizona, and Nevada, one of which in Nevada is going to be in casinos. Can we dive into some of the business model, the expansions, how long-term goals for the clinic, things like that?
Sure. Well, one last thing about how this therapy is different than Western medicine therapy.
Please, yes.
It's important for people to understand why the clinics will be popular and unique. Basically the difference between Eastern and Western medicine, and we'll call it acupuncture Eastern, and Western medicine traditional medicine that's used in the United States. The Western medicine was originally designed for patching up the wounded in war, so triage and taking a bullet out and fixing a broken leg. So those were the symptoms that were presented by the soldier. And in between wars, doctors needed a job, so they started seeing patients with the same philosophy of stopping the symptom. So the way a Western doctor sees a stomach ache or a headache is that is the problem, and they try to suppress that problem with a drug. Whereas Eastern medicine sees the symptom as an indicator of where this imbalance is and corrects the cause of the problem. And there's a term called iatrogenic disease. So when a Western doctor uses a drug to suppress a symptom, an iatrogenic disease occurs, which is basically a side effect or a continuing problem, from the treatment. So our centers, will be supporting the body's natural healing system and its superior healing and pain relieving. And again, it's non-invasive and drug-free. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
The model, as I mentioned, will be opening up 10 centers that will be beautiful and very comfortable to get your treatments in, and they'll be uniform. So wherever you are initially in the United States, then worldwide, the patient can get the same experience. And as I also mentioned, is once we prove that model, my partner and the CEO of the company, Mark Taggart, has 30 years of experience in business development. He has done mergers and acquisition and taken companies public. So that's what he brings, and we're very excited to be able to then bring this model in the public arena. And one of the things that we will be proving in the 10-center model is actually, let me go back one more step. The laser is unique in that, in my practice, I've used lasers over the years, and it's like a pen or a wand that you hold the applicator wand on each acupuncture one at a time for 20, 30 seconds.
I was going to go there. How long does the process take, and what does it look like? But go ahead, please.
Yeah, so the uniqueness about this laser and the cleverness is that there's sort of suction cups, as it were, and a non-medical tech can place the 10 or 12 of these applicators on the acupuncture points in under 5 minutes, set a patient up, and let the patient relax for 20 minutes or so and move on to the next patient in the next room. So I can train these non-medical techs to do these treatments, and they can do easily 6 to 8 treatments an hour. And there's a pretty good reimbursement, 100% reimbursement from the insurance company. So we're pretty excited about the multiples of how many treatments we can do in a day. And since we only need a tech and a receptionist for each center, we can have 2 sets of employees, splitting the time for a 12-hour day and be open 7 days a week.
Okay, so the treatment takes about 20 minutes is what I'm hearing. For come in, lay down, the tech sets up the lasers on the pressure points and the meridian points. And then at how many treatments does it normally take? Let's say somebody had a dislocated knee and then you've got or they've got a back problem. Is there, they come back, are they reoccurring, or what's that look like?
Sure. Well, of course, every patient is different, and depending if it's a chronic condition or an acute condition. So if someone just sprained their ankle, they were jogging and they twisted their ankle, it may only take 1 or 2 treatments. However, if someone comes in with chronic low back pain that they've had for 10 or 15 years, it may take anywhere from 3 to 10 treatments. So it depends on the patient, their condition, and their health condition as well. I mean, if someone is unhealthy and their immune system is sluggish, that patient isn't going to respond as well as someone who is, extremely healthy and has good lifestyle habits. So, it's a general anywhere from 1 to 10 treatments. It's a pretty broad spectrum.
Right. Okay.
It's always good to have tune-ups, come in. And actually an interesting thing with acupuncture in China, people go to the doctor regularly to stay well. And when they get ill, the doctor pays the patient. So they routinely get sort of tuned up by balancing their meridians, and they pride themselves on being well. And then if they get ill, the doctor didn't do his job. So there's no treatment, or the doctor pays the patient.
Interesting concept for Western medicine. Believe me, That's the other side of the entire spectrum. Now, you're going to set up 100 clinics in major metropolitan areas nationwide. I know that you're in the midst of a capital raise. Are you going to stay focused on the metropolitan areas?
Well, that's the ideal. I mean, once we get beyond 100, smaller communities can benefit from this as well. We will focus each of the centers around hospitals and other medical centers. 100% of, or probably 90% of our patients will be referred from a doctor. So that does 2 things. It gives us a great base of patients, but it removes a lot of liability, and we don't have to work the patient up. The patient already comes with a diagnosis, and we know exactly what to treat the patient for. So that's a pretty good model as well.
Now,
so with that, we can be in any center, but obviously a larger metropolitan will have more patient load than a town of 500 people.
Just in the interest of time, because we only have 2 minutes left in the interview, when do you expect the first clinic? When do you expect the?
Well, we just started talking to potential investors. So if anyone is interested, they can reach us. If they're interested in a strategic partnership or potentially being part of this exciting growth. As you mentioned earlier, it's site 888.strikingly.com, and they can get more information for accredited investors there.
Right. I can see that the on a business side, the profit margin here could be wide, and Eastern medicine is becoming more widely accepted, especially non-invasive, like you were talking about. And since you're using lasers, it's clean. There's not a lot of problems coming out with infections or things of that nature.
Exactly. Yeah, it's totally non-invasive, and which is why insurance, I'm sure, approves it, and it's FDA approved and it's patented. So we're pretty comfortable with the treatment modality, and we're very excited about the business model as well. I mean, it really, if you do the numbers on 100 plus reimbursement per patient, and you can do 6 to 8 an hour. The math is pretty easy.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Dr. Loreto, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm sorry we're out of time. I'd love to delve more into this, but that's all we have for today. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
All right, Dr. Conrad Loreto, COO, L3 Medical Technologies, and you can reach him at site888.strikingly.com or broadcastvc@gmail.com. Thanks for listening to our show. It's Michael Yorba on the New Equity Show, 1160 KBCE, DFW's Business Authority, the Wall Street Business Network. We'll be right back.